looked at him with a sweet smile and said, baby, now this is how you funeral. Y'all have been doing it wrong all this time. So we get into the car and we had a serious, intense conversation about how you white funeral versus how you black funeral. Now you see, my people, they are a dramatic people. In Haiti, they actually hire criers to attend funerals. That's what they do, right? Yes. You know, it's all like the louder the funeral, the more loved the individual. The criers are like hype men. They get the crowd riled up, you know, get you excited, all emotional. And children, there is no way that a child is invited to a funeral unless it's for a parent or a grandparent. Because our elders knew that we didn't know how to act. And there was no way that they were going to have us come to a funeral, act the fool, embarrass them in front of the family, and then some. If you acted up at a funeral, there was surely an ass whooping waiting for you when you got home. As a kid, death was number 3 in the top 5 things that you just didn't talk about. You didn't talk about that with your children. That was grown folks' business. My parents suffered losses, but they never shared their experiences. So when my time came, I had no examples. My mom died when I was 17 years old. And I was a mess. I was fucked up mentally, physically, emotionally. But my family would say, baby, just pray on it. You know what? God is good. God is good. However, you need a little bit more if you are suffering such an intense loss. But therapy was not an option. I'm not crazy, right? Because that's how my people thought. Therapy, that means you're crazy. So what I had to do, because I had to figure this out on my own, every single day during my first year of college, I went to Barnes & Noble's and sat in the death and dying section for hours, trying to teach myself how to cope with the losses that I had suffered. Ironically enough, my mother's mother died when she was a teenager, but she never shared her experiences. So I had no idea how to handle this. I'm 38 now, I'm a mother of 3, and not taking anything away from my mom, I've decided to do things a little differently. I feel that it's important for my children to understand death, because I was terrified of death as a child. And I want to make sure that, you know, when the time comes, because it will, we don't all live forever, and the risk you take when you form relationships is that you will lose people. I want to make sure when that time comes for them, they're resilient enough to withstand the pain and the struggle that it comes along with, and it doesn't break them. So we were put to the test about 2.5 months ago when Nanny, my mother-in-law, passed away suddenly. Now my girls were very close to their grandmother. So I not only had to deal with my grief, I now had to figure out how to get them through their grief. And I wanted them to be involved every step of the way. My 8-year-old was in the room when her nanny took her last breath. My 10-year-old was giving wake tours. So people would walk into the funeral home and she'd say, welcome. Let me introduce you to my Uncle Paul. This is my nanny's brother. And look at my nanny here. Isn't she beautiful? They even laid down her baby hairs. She would have loved it. And over here we have the family collage. Did you know Nanny had 23 grandchildren? And my baby would run up to the casket and just want to share her snacks with Nanny. Sounds weird, but they were very comfortable in that space, which was extremely important for me. And it was also important for me to make sure that they kept talking. They kept talking. See, in my culture, like, we don't talk. You move on, you get over it. But I wanted to make sure they kept talking, because when you hold that in, it erupts and it's not pretty. You know, I have my white relatives who talk about Nanny every single day. We're on this family group chat. And if somebody's having a shitty day, we all know about it. If somebody's